Welcome back to the channel. It's the end of the year, and I thought it was about time we did a channel update. And with me here is my partner in crime, the other half of Thinking Critical, Skip. What's going on, buddy?
Man, not a whole lot, man. Just wrapping up this year. It was a really interesting year, and we got a lot of, ideas and different things we want to do for the next year. So just figured we'd come and let the people know.
Yeah, so, when I did my last channel update, I said, I want to do at least one more show, not like Comics Aficionados, but shorter, maybe post-produce some stuff. Well, it turns out, now we have three. I've got Outside the Bleed with You, where we do a review. We've got geek-span, where we cover some news and things of that, like that in geek culture. Then I've got This Week in X-Men with Doc, where we talk about all the news that's coming out about X-Men and talk about that week's comics. And we have a bigger version of that called the Animadium Hour when it's necessary. But we got new changes in the next year, and so when I advertise my channel, it's quality reviews, in-depth analysis, open discussion. So first, I'll talk about the quality reviews. You're going to be seeing less reviews on the channel. They take a long time to produce. Some of them will take me upwards of 6 hours just to get all my thoughts and script them out and get it all done. So there's going to be one main review a week, which will come out hopefully on Wednesday. And then you and I will continue doing Outside the Bleed, but there's going to be a little bit of change. I'm going to start post-processing that one and throw pictures of the comic we're talking about for the viewers' enjoyment. We had sort of thought we were going to use that as part of a podcast later, but I don't think a review is really going to fit that format. So we're going to make it the best possible product for right here on the YouTube channel. And then I'm going to do one viewer's choice review, which is a quicker review on Sundays, which I will use the community tab for. What do you think about that, Skip?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to lend to, like I said, like you said, a much better product. Doesn't quite fit the podcast format that we were thinking about. I know people still like to listen to content sometimes, but comic books is such a visual medium, and a lot of the time we are talking about specific panels and stuff like that. So to allow people to see the visuals along with that, I think it'll kind of bring it all together and just kind of flesh it out a little bit more. So I think it's the best way for us to go as far as Outside the Bleed.
Mm-hmm. So that'll be the idea for the reviews. There will be at least 3 reviews on the channel. I'm also thinking about adding an end of week wrap up of the comics that I like and have another guest. I was thinking about maybe Corbin, but I'm not really sure yet. We've talked about doing some things together, but maybe it's a bunch of little mini reviews where we talk about the stuff we like, what was important in the comics we like, something like that. So there will still be specific comic content, but it'll be in a more compressed format. So that kind of does the reviews thing. As far as the in-depth analysis, I think that is the bread and butter of the channel. I think that's the most important part of the channel. The signature series being the most important one. I haven't done one of those in months. I had the baby come along, and it took a lot of time out of my production time and things like that. But I'm going to put a more concerted effort. That's why I'm cutting down on some of the time on the reviews, so I can put more effort into making those more long-term. Those things can take upwards of 20 to 40 hours to produce, just to do all the research, get all the pictures, have to make everything original, all that kind of stuff. So I want to put more emphasis on that. Want to get 1 to 2 of those out a month. So that's the plan right there for the signature series, which I know that's your favorite part of the channel that you don't actually contribute to, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that was like the main thing before I became part of the channel. I was just hooked on those. I just remember being like, man, there's so much information on this and how things, you could see things progress. You could see the stories and the topics progress because of how in depth, the research and everything was and how it was laid out. And I think, people, not just me, other people really responded really well to those. So I think it's going to be really good to see those come back. I think it was proper for the time that we were in with the life situations, and then also kind of where comic books was at the time to kind of try to cover a little bit more content. But I think a lot of things have changed, especially within the last 8 to 6 months in the comic book industry and, what people are really into, before I feel like things were a lot more dispersed, and not that people aren't into different books, but I think some really big events have happened, like House of X, Powers of 10, different things like the Carnage series and everything. So I think we're in a space where we can kind of get back to kind of focusing on some very specific things. And I think people are really, really, if we have a lot of new followers and new subscribers that if they've seen a signature series, they've only seen ones that have been done before. So I think when they get some new ones, they're going to rediscover how much of a treat they are.
Yep. So that's going to be a renewed emphasis on the channel. I'm also going to be doing shorter news type segments where I present the information as that has just come out. Maybe there's a major change up or a new writer on something, and I'm going to 5 to 6 minutes of my opinion on why it's good, why is it bad, what are the ramifications, things like that. Going to get those segments out. So more. That's not extremely in-depth, but it is in-depth analysis. So those are going to be coming out more frequently, probably, 3 or 4 a week. And then I'm going to have, of course, geek-span is kind of a part of that, where we quick hit all the major topics. You give your opinion, I give my opinion. And then also those conversations that I've been doing that have been releasing on like Sunday, Monday, Tuesdays, those are definitely going to be coming, especially with Josh. We do a lot of really good in-depth character and like event analysis and stuff like that. And I think that definitely has a place on the channel, and people definitely responded well to that. So that's, kind of how we're going to do the in-depth analysis, renewed focus on the signature series, present more news information with the opinions, rapid format, on geek-span, and then some of the longer form conversations with people I respect and I think have good knowledge and a breadth of knowledge to add to the story and things like that. So the final one is kind of the hardest one to do, open discussion. The first thing I did, for that was comics aficionados. We bring a panel of people that, love comics, talk about a topic, 4 to 5 people. And it's been really successful. People like that show. I think it has a pretty good recurring audience, even though it started out at 3 hours. We've compressed it down to 1.5 to 2 hours, for a reason that we're going to talk about here in a few minutes. But I also always responded to every single comment on any of my videos. That was one of my things that I wanted to do. That became very hard as the channel grew, and I had less time, with the kids and everything. But I'm going to put a renewed focus. I'm going to start answering all the questions, or at least, making sure that I read them. When I do, I acknowledge them so everyone knows that your voice is being heard, and I very much appreciate it. And that's kind of the way I'm going to do open discussion. And I'm also, I have a lot of people now that we've been doing these character studies that want to come on. They want to talk about their favorite characters. So that's probably going to be a once to twice a month thing where I'll have a viewer come on, and they don't have to agree with me. We can have different opinions on characters, and we'll talk about why you like the character, what you think was wrong with the character, and things like that. And I think that's a good, healthy way to do open discussion.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's nice to be inviting and bring people in. And also sometimes, we don't have to change how we feel about a character or a comic book run or series or whatever, but it's still nice to get a different perspective on it, because we may look at it in a way that we never have before. So I think it's going to add some serious value to the channel. That's one thing I'm actually looking forward to. I'm one of those people, similar in this community. Like, we don't have to agree on things, but I'm always looking to find out. I'm always just so curious, like, what are you seeing that maybe I'm not seeing, or what are we both seeing but you're just liking, and what are the reasons for it? Even if I don't agree, and it may change my mind, likely it won't, but I at least want to know. And and I think that just kind of gives everybody a bigger and a different perspective. So it's and especially for where comic books are and where they were coming from in different fandoms, it's one of the healthiest things that we can add as thinking critical to fandoms and especially to the comic book community.
So the last one is the big announcement. We've been teasing this thing for weeks, maybe a few months now. You and I have been discussing this. We've been talking with some other people. So we want to expand the channel. We don't want to be limited to just YouTube. One of the things that we're going to be doing, and we've got the channel started, but we haven't really put a lot of effort into it, is Twitch. Of course, you being a Twitch streamer, you have a lot more expertise and experience on this. I'm going to be trying to Twitch stream at least 2 to 3 times a week. hour minimum, maybe a little bit more. Talk about what I'm doing that night, maybe my process, and this is what I'm looking at, and this is what I think about that kind of thing. I also want to conduct the interviews that I do. When we do the audio, I would like to do those interviews on Twitch and just remove the audio from there, and then put the pictures and everything for YouTube as another way to interact with people. If you want to see the interview, we can just do it live there, and I think people will like that as well. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. It's another way to connect with the comic book community and subscribers, and then also similar to like we get it a little bit in aficionados, but it's a larger panel, it's a larger group of people, so it's kind of a little more different unless it's a super chat, which obviously we always want to make sure we get to those. But if it's not, outside of that, it's kind of tough to interact with chat. And then Twitch, if we have less people, if it's a two-person interview, two-person conversation, and we get through the main part, it does leave a little bit of a window, 5 to 10 minutes where, whoever's in chat, it's easier for us to talk and respond to them and everything. So I think it's a good way to go. And, a small idea that I have was just to kind of do a little bit of a book club where, I just go in there, everybody can come in, read whatever, comic that they did together, some music will be playing. And after we're done, just kind of talk about what we read and, what we liked about it. And again, it's just another way to kind of open things up and, just for us to, we all communicate over the internet, and it's so refreshing to be able to. It was harder to find groups of people like this before the internet. You know what I mean? You had to go to conventions, or you had, but the idea of a book club and where we can all just go and talk about either this, we're all reading the same issue, or we're reading different things and we're just sharing what we read. I think it's one of the easiest ways to do it. And it's usually a pretty fulfilling channel, something that I do on my own personal channel. And it was always really fun. And we always discovered something new, or a new book or something different, or just had, fulfilling conversations. So, expect something like that to be on the Twitch channel as well, as we kind of expand and kind of shift and grow into 2020.
Mm-hmm. So the final piece of growth that we're going to do, we like we said, we love YouTube, but we don't want to be married to YouTube. We want to be able to expand outside of it and see if we can grow the audience in other ways. So we are going to be starting like a podcast network. It's one of the reasons that we developed geek-span. We like talking about this stuff. We should be recording this stuff. People enjoy it. YouTube can be a bit clunky, if you want to listen to a segment like that, which would be great for running or exercising. You're out running around town. You can't just hit the play button and close the phone and put it in your pocket. It has to be open and stuff like that. So we're gonna I think we're gonna do it on Podbean. And so we developed geek-span. We sort of developed outside the bleed for that, but it doesn't feel like that's going to be the right way to go with it. But it's another reason that I've been doing all these interviews style things where I'm going to be doing a program called the Comic Wrap. That's the working name for it, where I'm going to do a 5 to 10 minute intro on a important subject in comic books that day, and then I'm going to get into those interviews, and we'll timestamp them if you want to hear about latest Star Wars news, or you want to hear about there's a big X-Men thing happened this week, or so and so has a new announcement. Let me go talk. So you'll be able to have all that in maybe like an hour and a half a podcast. That'll be like one of the big things, and also of course comics aficionados. That's one of the reasons we contracted it from 3 hours down to 2 or 1.5 to 2 hours, because 3 hours is a long podcast. But 2 hours is something, and of course we'll timestamp that as well. I do have some other people that may be working with us in the future, and maybe also providing content. I don't want to guarantee anything on like that, because we haven't, we've only talked. We're going to do it for 2 to 4 weeks. Make sure that we have the practices, the best practices down right before we invite some people in and see what content is right for us. But that was. And we were going to start at the first week of January, but I have a big trip coming up, so it's going to be at the end of January, but we are going to start it, and I know you're excited about it too, right, Skip?
Oh yeah, big time. I'm one of those people. I like, if it's something that I'm really into, I can talk about it and talk about it, and not just me talking about it and sharing my side. Like I said, I like to hear what other people have to say about it. Kind of helps me grow my perspective on it. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be good. And like Wes said, it kind of gets around some of the clunkiness of YouTube. You being able to just pop it in your ears. You can run. You could be in your car driving on the commute, and you don't have to worry about keeping your phone open the whole time and draining your battery. And then also it gives us some stuff where it's like where a visual would be more proper. In this particular case, all audio will get it done. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about us kind of shifting our weight, balance it a little bit more across Twitch and with the podcasts. And I think it's just going to kind of level us out a little bit more. And, it's some of this is going to be new for us. So, please just, be patient as things grow. Everybody's been really great. All the people in the Discord and people in chat, like everybody's in the comments, everybody's really supportive. So just ask for a little extra patience as we're kind of shifting into some new areas. And if you guys have, some positive feedback that you think will help us out, don't be afraid to share it, because, Wes and I, we're pretty sharp dudes, and we got some other people that help us out too that, got really great ideas. But if it's something that we're missing, and it could be that thing that makes Thinking Critical that much better, it makes it more fulfilling and for you guys, and make sure that you let us know so we can, can't promise that we'll implement every single thing, but at least if we're aware of it, we can discuss it and then see if we can implement it to make things better.
Well said, my friend. So I think I covered everything. Did I miss anything?
No, that was pretty much everything. Again, most of we have a Discord, so if you want to continue the comic book and geek culture chat and talk about TV shows and movies and comics and your favorite comic book panel, when we're not online or in between content, please come in there. And so many people in there that are just sharing all that stuff. And then also, as we're expanding and doing these different things, any and all support is appreciated. I know we just got out of the Christmas season and the holiday seasons, and most of us got all the gifts for everybody, and we're recovering financially, but just $1 helps whenever you can. But the biggest type of support you can do is just continue to come back to our channel and our different our different outlets, and just check out our content, and just continue to support us in that way. We really, really appreciate it. And it's been a huge blessing for me in 2019, beyond just comic books, to have Thinking Critical and have a community like this. So I personally want to thank everybody who is always comments and always in Discord, and, all of the super chats and everything that everybody did to help us grow and just show love and support for Wes and me and Doc and Perch and Chase and Ash and Stacks and everybody that's been a part of Thinking Critical. So from your boy Skipntosh to you, I appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Yes, I want to echo those sentiments, and thank you very much, Skip. This has been one of the true blessings of the year for me, meeting you and getting to collaborate on this stuff. And I couldn't ask for a better partner. We do a lot of great stuff together. We might not agree on everything, but we want to put out the best content and make the people happy. So thank you so much for coming on board and being a great partner here. And I think that'll do it, everybody. And that'll be the channel update for the first quarter of 2020. Later, everybody.